Hi everyone, I'm going to be doing something a little different today. I'm going to create an all NL Central team, just picking some of the best position players from all five teams in the division to make what I think is the strongest team possible. I don't have a lot of time and there's a lot of choices to make, so I'm sorry if I don't talk enough about or if I leave out one of your favorite players. I promise I didn't mean to. But starting at first base, which is the most loaded position in the division. So if you go back looking at the last 5 years, four of the top five first basemen in Fangraphs wins above replacement come from the NL Central. You can't really go wrong with any of these guys, but my choice is going to be Paul Goldschmidt because not only is he about as good of a hitter as any of these guys, but he also provides great value on defense, and he's the best base runner of the group too. It wasn't that long ago where Paul Goldschmidt actually stole 20 bases. So going to second base, I'm going to take Scooter Gennett from the Reds. In his time with the Reds, Scooter has hit 303, 351, 508, which is good for a 124 WRC+. And he's not an awful defender. It doesn't drag down his value too much. I'd like to give an honorable mention to Kolten Wong. Now that DJ LeMahieu is in the American League, I think it's safe to say Kolten Wong is the best defensive second baseman, which obviously middle infield defense is important. And I'd also like to give a mention to Mike Moustakas, who has since moved to second base. Now going to Moose's old position, third base, my pick is going to be Kris Bryant. Since he debuted in 2015, he leads all National League players in Fangraphs wins above replacement, and that's including his 2.3 win season from last year when he was dealing with injury. He's off to a slow start this year, but I think given his past, he can pick it up and return to being one of the best players in the league. Honorable mention here goes to Reds' Eugenio Suarez, who really found his power game last year, hitting 34 home runs as part of a 134 WRC+ season, and now he's put up 2 consecutive 4-win seasons, so he's really coming into his own as well, and the Reds have him on a great contract. At second base, my pick is going to be Javier Baez. The power game made a big difference for him last year as well. He hit 34 home runs, helping to prop up a 554 slugging percentage. He has spent the majority of his time at second base, but he's recently moved to shortstop to cover for Addison Russell, and he's still been an above-average defender. Not necessarily as awesome as he makes himself look sometimes, but nonetheless above average. And my honorable mention here is going to go to Paul DeJong, who had a really strong rookie season. Not as good of his year last year, but he dealt with some injuries, only played about 100 games. Nonetheless, he was striking out less, walking more, and he's also a good defender. So left field was a difficult decision just because there aren't a ton of great players, to be honest, in the National League Central who play left field. So I decided to go with Marcell Ozuna just based on what he has shown he's capable of in 2017, putting up that 144 WRC+ with the Marlins. He dealt also with injuries last year, like a lot of guys on this list. So if he's healthy again, maybe he can sort of get back to that 2017 form of himself. Honorable mentions go to Corey Dickerson, who hits for a high average and has really come into his own defensively, and Kyle Schwarber, who has a lot of offensive potential. In center field, pretty obvious choice for me, Lorenzo Cain. Amazing center field defense. He really improved his plate discipline, which is a good thing to do as you age. And he still has tremendous speed. He's a great base runner. My honorable mention here is Starling Marte, who is kind of like a Lorenzo Cain light. Good defender, good speed, just not quite the player that Lorenzo Cain is yet. Right field, another obvious choice. MVP Christian Yelich. Found the power game last year, carried the Brewers into the playoffs. Didn't think he was going to be able to maintain that pace he ended the season on, but he's off to a really good start in 2019. He's still hitting home runs at an impressive rate, and he's a good defender. So easy choice for me, Yelich in right field. Honorable mention goes to Puig. Catching was a bit of a tough one as well because two of the best pitch framers in the MLB, and Yasmani Grandal and Yadier Molina, reside at catcher, obviously. I ended up taking Yasmani Grandal because his offense is better than Yadi's, but can't really go wrong having either of them catch games for you. Honorable mention goes to Wilson Contreras. Although he's the worst framer basically in the league, he has the offensive potential to be better than either of those guys with the bat. Heading over to pitching, my setup man, Josh Hader. Last year, held opponents to a 131 batting average, struck out 47% of hitters. He had a 2.23 FIP in almost 90 innings, which is great, getting 90 innings out of a reliever, especially when he can give you 2 or 3 of those in the same game. He's really the perfect bridge to get from your starter to your closer to end the game. And speaking of closer, my pick is going to be Felipe Vasquez of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Over the past 2 seasons, he is tied with Kenley Jansen for the lowest ERA and tied with Josh Hader for the lowest FIP among relievers. And unlike a lot of relievers, Vasquez throws 4 really good pitches in his fastball, curveball, changeup, and slider. So he has a lot of different ways to get hitters out, and judging by the stats I just gave us, he's really good at getting hitters out. Finally, starting pitching, also one of the tougher ones because while there are a lot of solid options here, I don't know if there's necessarily one that really stands out and proves himself as the best ace in the division. If we want to look at last year, Miles Mikolas had a great season. John Lester is always, known for his good big game appearances. Jameson Taillon is a promising young pitcher. I'm actually going to go with a little bit of a bold prediction maybe here, and I'm going to take Luis Castillo from the Reds. The guy's a strikeout machine. He's got nasty stuff. He's off to a really good start in 2019 despite taking an undeserved loss to the Brewers last week. I think going forward, he's really going to emerge as the best ace in this division. So, hope you guys had fun watching this. Thank you for listening. And again, I'm sorry if I left out your favorite player or didn't say enough about him.